What's up, comic fans out there? I'm Troy to the Max Extreme.
And I'm Ghost Hunter Dave.
Together, we form IMPERIUS REX!
Oh, we sure do. And Troy, it feels so weird to be wearing pants and clothes for this last stop on our Miller Time extravaganza.
Feels weird?
Feels weird.
Alright!
I feel overdressed. It's fun to dress up for work, right?
Today we are going over a slew of other Frank Miller projects.
That's right. We really dug in deep on 300 and Sin City, and now we're just kind of wrapping up a catch-all of some of his other notable, more indie stuff.
Yes!
Down Miller Time. We're on, as we said before, our last stop. So we're about to shut off the lights. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
That's right.
We've run out of the Miller beers. We're really...
We're on our last legs.
Yes. Just back to the basics. The only alcohol in my fridge at this moment, so we're going to have to make it last. And we're going to get through this.
Yes. Together.
That's right. So this one, we actually had to divide and conquer to wrap this up. I read his 1983 DC Comics work, Ronin, 6-issue miniseries, right after he did his work on Daredevil, I think, and probably Wolverine.
Okay.
And right before he got into The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
So this is kind of Miller proving what he's got, I guess.
On the big stage of DC Comics?
Yeah, I think so. I guess it worked out for him. I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't love Ronin. I've heard good things. Like, I know that he made a book called Ronin, and it was like a futuristic samurai thing. Yeah. And that was all I ever heard about it. Never heard if it was any good. I just heard that he made it.
I just assumed it was good because it's like a comic cover about the trade dress I see pretty frequently.
Yeah.
That one samurai or whatever standing on the front. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get to that eventually. And then you read it and were telling me about it a little bit and I'm like, okay, well, might skip it.
Yeah. I'm like, and you might be wondering, why aren't we covering Batman? Just hold on to your horses, okay?
Pump your brakes.
Miller Time ends today, but don't worry, kids. That's not the last time we're going to talk with Frank Miller this year. So just like Frosty the Snowman, he'll be back again one day. No worries. And that's all we're going to say about that. But on the topic of conversation, Ronin. Yeah. So it is. Starts off in the past. A samurai warrior, kind of an apprentice to a master, is doing samurai stuff. All right. Fighting this evil demon called Agat.
Okay.
And he kills Ronin's master.
Oh, okay.
Thus making him Ronin. I believe Ronin is a samurai without a master. Right. Not sure what they called him before that.
Not Ronin.
Not Ronin. That might have been it. But the only way to kill this evil demon is to use a sword, which I think is named Blood Drinker.
Oh.
And
look out!
It needs innocent blood on it to vanquish evil. So Ronin does the old Harry Carey, I believe. Okay, yeah. Threw himself out his back into Agat.
Oh, all
killing himself and the creature in the process.
Cubs
which I
win.
thought was pretty cool. Yes.
Cubs win!
So then we flash forward hundreds and hundreds of years into the future. Whoa. We're now in a dystopian, futuristic New York, where biocircuitry is all the rage.
Yes.
Oh my god, you could do a drinking game to how many times biocircuitry is uttered in this 6-issue series.
I'm kind of back on board now, Dave.
And by 6 issues, it reads like 12. It is so dense.
I'm
You
back
back off.
I'm off.
Step off. Ride the rails for a bit. It is probably we said Sin City was dense in spots. This one is way denser. There's like 2-page spreads where it's just blocks of word balloon. Just squares and blocks of text. And it really doesn't need to be. I think Miller said this was inspired by the research he did for Daredevil, where he was reading all these old like Japanese comics. And he loved the fact that you didn't need, like, if you didn't read Japanese, you could still enjoy them by the pictures. This, not so much. I don't know if he was going for that, but like, it is just non-stop talking. And it's just not great. And to go along with that, the artwork is not great Frank Miller either. No, it's like, I've heard people really like this. Like, they like the art, they like everything about it. Colors, again, by Lynn Varley. I felt like the colors were muddy. The art was just kind of sketchy and lazy.
Like the kind of stuff he's doing more recently?
No, the old, like...
okay.
Almost like a muddier, dirtier Dark Knight Returns, maybe. But we're in the city. Biocircuitry is running rampant. This like, by and large, basically, this group corporation is running the world. Called Aquarius, and they have like a supercomputer named Virgo who's kind of running everything. And within this complex, there's this paraplegic kid with no arms or legs, so he's just a head and a torso, named Billy. And Billy is a vessel for the reincarnation of the Ronin warrior. Okay. But with Ronin comes Agat too. Okay. So Ronin, Billy now Ronin, is just, he's used... Oh, also Billy has telekinesis.
Well, of course.
And he's used that to form robotic arms and everything. But he also just looks like Ronin now.
All right.
Not sure why. So he goes out and wanders the city and does a little bit of life-saving, samurai stuff. Okay. But also, like, lets a lot of people die, which is a part where I'm like, what is his deal? Like, he barely talks. There's a lot of racial slurs throughout, a lot of racial tension, because it's Frank Miller. Swastikas run rampant. And eventually, the twist is, because we're spoiling this, because it's not very good, the supercomputer, Virgo, is wanting to wipe out humanity, replace everyone with biocircuitry. Awesome. So it created...
Back on board.
Yep. It created this fantasy for Billy. So Billy thinks the Ronin and everything has been reincarnated in himself, but it's not. He's just kind of gone crazy and used his powers to make up this backstory and physical presence of Ronin. Okay. And the security officer who Billy kind of fell in love with, she kills Agat, just shoots him in the head because he's a computer, because he's just a robot.
Right. Yeah.
And then she shames Ronin into killing himself again because he, this great samurai, had to have his foe vanquished by a woman. So he, second one, kills himself, and by doing so, like, creates this chain reaction that blows up all of Aquarius, and then the whole supercomputer, all the biocircuitry unplugged.
I'm back off board.
No. And that's it.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. That's the end. It just, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it was better in the 80s, but I was not a big fan of it. Yeah. Kind of going out on Miller time with a whimper. Just a lot of warm beer at the bottom of the bottle.
So, like, even in a group chat that we're both in, it's a pretty comic-centric one. Yeah. They weren't really big fans of this either.
No, and I even listened to their podcast. It's our Paper Keg Friends that they did a while back. And even in the podcast, they all started out liking it. And then, like, by the end of it, I think they all kind of talked themselves out of liking it. Because it just has a lot of weird pacing issues. And, like, the twist at the end is kind of interesting, but I don't know if it was really done to its fullest extent. Overall, left me kind of scratching my head, like, Okay, I get he's a notable name now, but I would call this one a miss.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right.
Maybe, feel free to disagree, tell me why I'm wrong, but I, not big on Ronin.
Well.
Thank God I named my son Roman.
Oh.
And not Ronin. Or else that would be embarrassing.
You have to live with that your whole life.
Yeah. Oof.
Well, let me try to change your mind, Dave.
All right, you got something else?
I've got 2 stories.
No one's got time for that.
I know, but I'm going to try to frame them in
All
anyway.
right.
Okay. So I have, first up, Hard Boiled. And this one is where Frank Miller starts his relationship with Geof Darrow,
Ooh.
I believe.
So we're branching into new territory. This is the first Miller time book that he did not illustrate himself.
Yes, and if anyone is not familiar with Geof Darrow, then you need to educate yourself.
Oh my God.
Because this guy is insane.
Not like Frank Miller is insane, where he's
No, it's
actually clinically insane.
I don't know how...
Insanely artistic?
Detail-oriented... times X a million Googleplex.
Oh my God.
Now this only collects 3 issues of it because I think that's all there is of it.
Yeah.
But the first issue came out in 1990. This book makes little to no sense. I didn't get much out of it until the 3rd issue.
Okay.
It deals with this guy who claims he's a tax collector.
Okay.
His name is Nixon. At least at one point in the story, his name is Nixon. He's a tax collector. And the reason I say that is he thinks his name is because there's a twist at the end, which I don't think I want to give away in this, that his name could be anything.
Okay.
And...
could it be Dave?
It could be Dave.
Oh,
it could be Troy.
No!
It could be Roman.
Oh, no. It's all becoming too real.
But, it's full of over-the-top, sex. Carnage. Violence. Geof Darrow doesn't... there's a full 2-page, sex scene with a wife in this that is fairly explicit.
Sure is. We're not going to be able to show any of that.
NSFW. But, there's also a ton of, branding and stuff in this. Not, sticky with a hot poker branding,
Not the Bat brand?
No, not the Bat brand. It's, Nike and...
Really?
Everything has a brand on it. It's a NASCAR dress.
Coca-Cola right there.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it says Cola-Cola.
Yeah, well,
got away from
they're
it.
all slightly off, which makes it funny the way they try to stretch some things.
Uh-huh.
But it's a super actiony, very bizarre tale.
It looks Blade Runner-y.
It's
very a dirty Blade Runner.
That's exactly
Dirtier Blade Runner.
The aspect I got from it. This is Blade Runner.
It even looks like Deckard.
A little bit. But I can't tell... It's not quite Blade Runner, because it's in the future, but it's not it's not Blade Runner.
Okay.
It's Blade Runner without being Blade Runner, pretty much.
Frank Miller's Blade Runner.
Right. But I can't really place if I even liked it, really, or not. It's bizarre.
Do you hear that squeak?
I do hear
That's
that
our
squeak.
cat toy. I'm pulling the plug on it right now. I'm going to listen to the audio. It's going to be over everything. Give me that. What? What are you doing? Get out of here.
Just getting rid of that cat toy.
Get.
But yeah, it's a dirty, scummy world they live in. He takes so much abuse in this.
Mm-hmm.
And Darrow does an outstanding job. Even if you weren't a fan of the plot in this, get the book just for the art alone.
Tear the pages out and put them up on your wall.
It's a master... it's a Where's Waldo some pages of just stuff going on everywhere. It's nuts. Here, flip through this, Dave.
You've seen this guy's drawing desk, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm trying to think what I would compare the page size to. Look at the detail on that.
Yeah, look at the detail. I couldn't even imagine how long it takes him to actually do a single issue of anything. Oh. And so I've actually met Geof at a con, and I have stuff signed by him of his works at my house. And I've asked him that question, and his only response was, because he probably gets it all the time.
Yeah.
But
his only response was, fuck you.
But he just said, suck it, Troy. And then I how do you know my name? And then I left. But he just says, I just like to put little things on each page that just amuse me. That's and I'll great. Just sit down and just knock them all out. I'm like, hey man, if that's how you get it done. Like, keep going, because
That's how you
this
get your
is
kicks.
this
You
is
sick son of a bitch.
insane. It's insane. But otherwise, the story is very bizarre, and I couldn't tell if issue 1 and 2 like actually flow into each other or not, because it seemed like in a hard stop and he's going on to something else.
Mm-hmm. So they're kind of day in the life of type of things?
At least issue 1 is to like maybe set the scene, and then issue 2 bleeds into issue 3, but I couldn't even really grasp what was going on until 3.
Okay.
And then maybe that's the reason why it hasn't had much of it, unless they just wanted to tell this small tale. But hard-boiled, I don't know.
Nice work not telling us anything about it.
There's nothing to tell. It's all flash.
Okay.
Like, there's no real substance to it.
So it's purely an artistic delight.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
How does Miller get these projects?
I
Just
don't
write
know.
up some bullshit and
I
then
don't
get
know.
just the highest profile artist to tackle it? It's bringing to mind All-Star Batman all over again.
But the second one I have is actually a favorite of mine, called Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot.
I remember this one.
And this...
They had a cartoon of this for
yeah,
a while.
this was popular enough that it was a Fox Kids cartoon for like maybe a couple seasons. And it was one of my favorites growing up. But they set more up, I think, in the cartoon than they do in this. Because this is also another Geof Darrow thing, where it's a lot of style over substance.
And it's a lot of Frank Miller, bizarre, weird, like, nothing of a story.
It really, it's nothing. It's just
a kaiju attack.
Yep.
And they send in, Rusty, the boy robot,
Uh-huh.
who just gets his ass whooped.
Who's like a little, he's kind of like, oh shit, what's his name? Astro Boy.
Yeah.
He's like the new automaton, like nuclear powered and everything.
Uh-huh.
And he's getting his ass creamed, right? And so they send in the reinforcements, which is Big Guy, who's this old, patriotic, gun-slinging robot.
Steam-powered.
Right.
Yeah.
Like thing from like the 40s and 50s.
Uh-huh.
Comes in on this huge blimp. And I love the style of it, because it's like an old, like, looks like an old Cadillac or something like that of a blimp. And he just pops out of it, and he's just full of, like, American machismo, and just, like, blasts this monster to smithereens or whatever.
Yep.
But then there's a twist in it where, like, it was never really a robot. It's a man inside driving it.
The monster?
No, the Big Guy.
Oh, Big Guy. Okay.
Yeah. And so, but Rusty doesn't know that. He just looks up to Big Guy as, like, his hero.
Yeah. And Rusty is a robot.
And Rusty
Says
is
it in
a
the
robot.
title.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's the boy one.
Right.
But, like, this is really short, too, but it's full of a ton of splash pages.
It's short in the fact that, like, it's not many pages, but my God, you could spend, like, 5 minutes on every page.
And like, the same with Hard Boiled. It's only 3 issues, but it probably took me as long to read that as it did, like, a Sin City trade.
Good Lord.
And so, because I was just combing through all the detail in these pages. And it's the same with Big Guy as well.
Yeah, both Dark Horse, too.
Yeah, both Dark Horse. And another great thing about this, that it spawned the show, the theme song to that show is amazing.
Is it?
If you can play it right now, it's going to be great.
For you? Anything. We'll go out on the theme song of that if you want.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, when he jumped to having Geof Darrow do a stint of his stuff, like, it was just like the spark of an idea that laid out over 20, 50 pages of just incredible art, which will make you buy it regardless if it's good or not.
You really wonder what Frank Miller's writing direction is on that. You know,
I don't know.
What is the instruction that he gives for Darrow? Like, in the 3rd floor of this skyscraper, there's a person hanging out. You know, like, or does he just let him go wild?
I gotta think it's like more of a Marvel method style,
I
where
bet
it's like,
so.
Here's a synopsis. Go nuts. Dark Horse is gonna print whatever I want.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
like, this is where we got. But regardless, the art is great on its own. And if we're going a little bit more on Darrow for a second,
We can.
he's got a sketchbook out now called Lead Poisoning, which I also have, and it is insane. It's just his pencil sketches of stuff that never got printed.
Who's
And
the poor bastard that has to ink these?
I have no idea. I think he might do it himself.
Okay.
But
we really should check, because if he has an inker, he deserves some recognition. I think it's just Darrow.
Yeah, it might just be Darrow. I mean,
All
it's
right.
only fair.
Yeah,
Like,
good Lord. Why would you
If
subject
it was
someone
an
to that?
inker that came up to that, he would immediately just, like, put a gun in his mouth, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway,
cool.
Frank Miller.
Yeah. Not pulling his weight on these last two, but what a weird way to end Miller time.
Yeah. But
so,
these are, like, odd like little one-off stories, all three of these, that I would really want somebody else's opinion on, because maybe at the time they were different. They didn't come out that long ago.
Ronin's his oldest.
Right.
You know, outside of like his big Marvel and DC stuff.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I want to know any of that stuff. If you found something in it that we apparently missed, let us know, because maybe I'll look at it again. But
yeah, that kind of wraps up our Miller time. So hopefully you guys all had a blast with it. You know, it's not exactly the most timely thing we've talked about on the show, but Frank Miller, always an artist to take a look at.
Right.
So we thought, why not make a big chunk of episodes just on that, just so you can carve out your Sin City reading list there. Otherwise, you'd never touch them, would you?
I would have never read it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it for Miller time. We're wrapping it up, and we have another something special coming up after that.
But as you said, we won't. This is not the last time we'll see Frank Miller. So
no,
don't
he's gonna pop his head again.
He'll rear his ugly head up here pretty soon. But until next time, I've been Short of the Max Extreme.
And I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
And we've been Imperius Rex. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Watch the skies coming at you. A hero of metal hue. He locks horns with disaster for the red and white and blue. Then was born of a robot, miracle of science, ready to catch large monsters, supercharged and quick on the draw. Pretty darn good, but he needs help. The big guy, he's a big deal. Heart of gold and fist of steel. Covering lamented peace, with Rusty at his heel. There, a mighty team. The boy robot lives his dream.